Hello and welcome again to another edition of Get Outside St. Tammany, a show dedicated to all things outdoors in this great parish of ours. And joining us first this month is always from the Department of Wildlife and Fisheries. We got Melissa Collins, who is here to share with us about how to rehab animals. And as we were talking off camera, it's not as simple or as hard as one might think. So first of all, welcome to the show and tell us a little bit about your role with the department.
Well, thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here. Part of my role at the department is I serve as a wildlife biologist, and I'm the permits coordinator. So I manage a few programs, one of which is the wildlife rehab program.
And what is that?
Well, wildlife rehab is the treatment and care of injured and orphaned animals with the intent to release those said animals back into the wild.
I would think that you have two kinds of people. One would be the person who sees an injured animal in their yard and decides to bring it in. Why is that a bad idea?
Well, I mean,
or is it a bad idea?
Well, it could be a bad idea. You know, you need specialized training, perhaps in capture, of course in rehabilitation, but you're setting yourself up for potential disease or potential injury. You could be bitten or maybe scratched.
If you don't know the animal, I would assume you
Right,
could
especially with an injured animal.
So you have a rehab, and the other misconception is that it would take a biologist to learn how to rehab an animal, which is also not true, correct?
Correct. So we have a set of criteria that individuals, when they apply, they have to meet. So we make certain to work with those individuals. I absolutely love this program and adore the people that I work with. So I take extra care and time with these individuals to make sure that they understand what they're getting into and so that they can properly learn to do this.
Maybe putting you on the spot, do you know how many rehabbers you have? Or at
We
least locally?
have close to 80.
Okay, and are those all over the state, or?
They're all over the state. However, I have a 5-year goal. I would like to see one rehabber in every single parish, and I have not yet met that goal, so it's my 5-year plan.
You have one here in St. Tammany.
We have a few here, but
That's
not
good.
all are listed. Not everyone wants to be known.
Yeah, I can imagine you probably get some crazy requests if you do. So going back to, I find an injured animal in my yard, on the road, whatever. I don't want to bring it home, but I want to find the expert. What do I do? Who do I
So
call?
probably the quickest way for you to get in touch with a wildlife rehabilitator is to access it through some sort of media and access our website. You can go to wlf.la.gov and find wildlife rehabilitation, and you'll find the list of individuals who are licensed perhaps in your area, or even you can filter it by parish. So that's the quickest way. Another way is you can contact any of the wildlife offices or division offices, and they can give you that list or provide you with some individuals if you don't have internet access.
Gotcha. Is there I don't know how to ask this question. I find the animal, I find that person. Does that person come get the animal? Do I typically have to take the animal to the
No,
person?
so our rules and regulations state that in order to transport, you're in possession of that animal. So it's illegal to be in possession of wildlife in the state without some sort of permit. So you do need to find a rehabilitator who has a transporter. A lot of these individuals cannot take the time to transport. So instead they have individuals who are licensed but use the rehabilitator's facility to provide that care for those animals. So you would call them and they would set it up for you.
And then they take them. Is the facility typically external place, or could it be at home, or could it be either?
So a lot of times we use the word facility, and it confuses people, and it makes them think that they need to have this grandiose $1 million entity or facility, and it's not like that. It could be done out of your home. There's a few caveats that we need to make sure that you fulfill before you do something like that. But typically, it could be anywhere from a little cage for one animal, because that's all you can handle, up to something very large.
Got it. All right. So if I'm interested in becoming a rehabilitator, how extensive is the study? You know, what would I go through to get trained or licensed or whatever the proper
Okay,
term
so
would be?
like I said, we have a pretty large requirement list. The two most important things are taking the basic skills class, which we're actually offering at headquarters on Quail Drive in Baton Rouge, September 16th. It's a Saturday from 9 to 6. And then the other side of that, the other more important aspect of it, is getting the training that you need. So we pair you with a wildlife rehabilitator who is licensed, whom can mentor you, and you serve sort of as an intern. and they'll help you and guide you through it. So you could have some experience already, maybe you worked for a vet, or maybe none whatsoever, you just love animals.
Yeah. You get the animal for the first time, you get that specialist, the wildlife specialist, to call them. Is that how that typically works? If I'm a rehabilitator and I get an animal, I don't know what to do, is that...
So it's really important for these wildlife rehabilitators that are licensed to connect with one another, and most of them know each other. And so a lot of them are really specialized. Some might be really good at rehabbing, I don't know, maybe a rabbit, whereas someone else might be really good at rehabilitating a squirrel. And they may get the opposite, the animal that they don't really desire. So they'll call one another and say, hey, can we trade off? Or, hey, I've got this anomaly. Have you ever seen this before? Can you help me figure this out? And 9 times out of 10, one of these rehabbers has that very specialized solution.
Is this limited to certain animals? That may be a dumb question, but are there certain animals that a rehabilitator cannot handle?
So wildlife rehabilitators cannot rehabilitate alligators, deer, bear. So there's a few other instances and species, but for the most part they can rehabilitate most mammals and most migratory bird species. There are some other permits that are required, U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service permits that are required, but we can walk individuals who are interested in the program through those application processes.
And do they get paid, or is this a...
No, they do not. They are not compensated by us.
Kindness is because you gotta love to do it.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Got it. You've already kind of covered how you find a rehabber in the area, and how they become a rehabilitator. Is the training itself difficult? I mean, does it depend on, I guess, what you know going in to the training?
No. So, I mean, of course, if you have prior experience, like I mentioned before, say you worked for a vet, then you're going to have a little bit more knowledge than maybe someone who's never experienced this whatsoever. But the training is not difficult. It's an all-day class, and it covers topics like pharmacology, capture, handling, diet, minimum cage requirements, those sorts of things. So it's meant to be a basic class for individuals who have zero experience whatsoever.
And if I don't want to become a rehabilitator, but I do want to help, what can I do?
Oh, absolutely. So there are wonderful, wonderful ways for people to get involved. They can intern with a wildlife rehabilitator. If that even means you show up for once a month, or maybe you only want to do it 2 times a year. You can clean cages, help feed animals, other sorts of tasks. We also are always looking for transporters, even if you're only willing to travel an hour. Say you're willing to travel an hour here and an hour back. We can figure out a way for you to meet up with someone else to get that animal to a wildlife rehabilitator. But there's all you need is the license and to have a rehabber who's willing to work with you. That's really important. I would love to see more people come forward and offer those sorts of services. Again, even if it's only once or twice a year.
Do you need training to be a transporter or certain setup?
You still need to, you have to have the license, you have to meet all of the requirements. However, the facilities requirement would be slightly different because you would be using someone else's, a licensed rehabilitator's facility. But we would have to go through the process and make sure everything is okay.
Okay, so you got a big group training in September. Otherwise, does the individual show up to headquarters? Is there a way to do this online? What are the other options other than wait until September to get signed up?
All right, so it's never too late to contact me to get involved and work with a licensed rehabilitator. You don't need to wait until September. Start the process now. We can help you be paired with a licensed rehabilitator, and then when September does roll around, come and take our class. And then we'll slowly work with you to get those requirements fulfilled.
Is the class offered on an annual basis, semi-annual?
Annual.
Okay.
Annual, yeah. And if we feel that the need is greater, then perhaps there may be more, but for right now, it's annual.
Got it. And again, you mentioned the website, but reiterate that again, how people could find out more about this program.
All right, so they can visit the LDWF website at wlf.la.gov.
It's always the hardest part to remember. Anything else we missed? Anything else
No,
you'd
I
like
think
to
we've
add?
touched on everything. Thank you so much for having me.
Pleasure to meet you, Melissa.
Same here.
We'll see you or somebody else here next month.
All right,
Thanks a lot.
sounds good.
And we'll be back right after this break.
Every child needs a place
where they can grow up healthy
and learn and be safe. In the Habitat house, my parents helped build. My parents. My mommy and daddy. I study. I grow. I learn. I live. Your support can help put a decent roof over the heads of a family like mine.
like mine.
Like mine. To learn how you can help, Visit habitat.org.
And welcome back. And we're joined now to talk about Girl Scouts. And we've got Mary Ann Addy and Jordan Williams here who are going to both play a part in this segment. Welcome. First and foremost, looking forward to learning more, other than everyone knows the Girl Scouts sell cookies.
Absolutely.
And everyone loves the cookies, but obviously it's much more to the Girl Scouts than that. So let's start with you, Mary Ann. Maybe tell us your position within Girl Scouts.
All right.
And then just a general, for those that don't know anything about, I've got all boys, so I really don't know much about Girl Scouts. So tell us a little bit about the Girl Scouts in general.
Well, I'm the Chief Marketing and Communications Officer at Girl Scouts Louisiana East. So that's the local council that covers St. Tammany Parish. We're 23 parishes. We are headquartered in New Orleans with an office in Baton Rouge, and we have 3 camp properties: Camp Covington, Camp Whispering Pines in Independence, and Camp Marydale, which is in St. Francisville. So that kind of covers our area. Now, I mean, Girl Scouts, we're a leadership development organization for girls, so it's all about building girls of courage, confidence, and character who make the world a better place, which is why I wanted to bring Jordan to proof that, we do wonderful things with girls and helping them gain life skills.
Jordan, what is your You're a senior?
No, I'm a junior.
Oh, you're a junior, so you'll be a senior soon enough. But tell us a quick little bit of your story with Girl Scouts.
Well, currently I am part of a girl planning team, which is something I've been able to do through Girl Scouts, which is super amazing. I've been able to experience a lot of different things that a lot of other people can't see and do in life. So I'm super excited about that. I get to do a lot of different camping things and different things like that.
Gotcha. So, yeah. And we'll jump back and forth. So we'll go. I guess I may be asking you a loaded question, but I think it's the daisies, right? You start as a daisy.
Yep.
And you talk leadership, and I know that's a huge part of Girl and Boy Scouts. How do you grab that daisy and over time train them to be a leader? Does it literally start from there and getting
right? Well, it's a progression. So our daisies are your kindergarten first graders. So they start by learning the Girl Scout law and the promise, and some of those, and they have earned petals are based on different parts of the law about being honest and fair and friendly and all of that information. So as you progress, you learn and get more experiences. So you start going on field trips. You start doing outdoor camping, which might start out by first going to a camp facility, coming out, doing it on a daytime level before you actually will be outdoors. Spend the night.
Sure,
so
certainly.
it's definitely about progression.
And you mentioned the camps. Let's elaborate. There's 3, I believe you said, in this area or in your district, so to speak, but in one local. Talk about the camps, and maybe we'll jump. What are the camps there for?
Okay.
And we'll talk about maybe some of the experiences.
Well, one of the nice things about the camps is it allows us to have girls be outdoors year-round. So we have resident camp programs during the summer, which is very popular because you get to go overnight and experience a lot of fun things, whether it's canoeing, hiking. We have a high ropes course, rock climbing, canoeing, all of those sorts of things that they can do. But during the school year, our troops will come out and use our camp properties as well. We also have a new program for our homeschoolers, so we invite families to come out during the week, because we recognize that our camps are mainly used by the troops during the weekends. So this allows our camp to be kind of like an outdoor classroom. So folks who might be interested in doing some learning about nature and science activities can come out and enjoy our camps as well.
Does the leadership part of this come from the education? I know there's a lot of team building. And
absolutely.
Or is it both? Is it a mixture of all of that?
Well, team building is a large part about Girl Scouts. We say that we want girls to discover their values and learn to connect with others, and that's really the team building portion, and then as well as take action. And a lot of times that your high and your low ropes courses, a lot of there's team building exercises you can do. I really think even going to camp is all about learning to get along with your sister Girl Scout, because you're in a camp together for a week and sharing platform tent, that kind of thing.
Would you agree? What's been the best part of that from you? How have you learned leadership?
A lot of different camps will be able to lead girls, the younger girls. So as you get older, you get to be like a counselor or a counselor in training. So that's a big part.
Well, and I would think the younger girls, obviously, you're a role model, whether you want to be. They're going to look up to you. So that's a big. So you do intermingle younger with the older scouts.
Yeah, Jordan was telling me her troop is a multi-level troop, meaning that they actually serve different age levels, so the older girls do things with the younger girls.
So how many scouts are there actually in this council?
We serve about 13,000 girls.
Is that, again, from daisies on up, or is that literal?
Yeah, that's daisies on up. That's kindergarten through 12th grade. Out of that 13,000, we probably have about 1,300 Girl Scouts in St. Tammany Parish.
So we've talked a lot about leadership, but then also you're looking at advancing skills and technology, science. Obviously, that's huge.
Yes.
Because everyone's going to have a job someday, and if you don't understand those components, you might be. So that's another area where you guys have an advantage of giving someone a leg up on the competition, so to speak.
Well, I mean, that's one of our 4 emphases are life skills, science, technology, engineering, and math, financial literacy, as well as being outdoors. So we just came out with about 23 new STEM and outdoor badges for girls to be able to do robotics and engineering and all these really cool things.
That's awesome. And so Jordan, we touched on this at the top. You're going to a convention in October. So tell us about that convention and what you'll be doing and how you got there.
Well, Girl 2017, that's the name of the convention, is it is the world's largest girl-led convention. So basically there is a group of 21 girls in total, and I'm part of them, and we are planning this whole thing. So
wow.
Yeah, girls is really girl leading everything and planning and kind of trying to get us into that stance of being able to take leadership and different things like that. So that's what we're there for, is to plan this for all these other younger girls.
How has it been so far?
It has been a lot of fun. We've been able to, we're doing really well. We're almost, it's in October, so we're kind of rolling things down, finishing things up, but it's going to be pretty impressive. We are super proud of this at the moment. So.
Gotcha. Again, going back, I know when we're talking about scouting in general, outdoors, I believe archery is a part of this, I believe, right? Talk about the various sports. Archery would be a sport.
Well, we have archery badges. We also have horseback riding. We have a horseback riding. Our camp in Camp Marydale in St. Francisville has a wonderful equestrian center where we actually have a Wrangler spur program where girls teach younger girls how to ride horses. So, which is a tremendous way of also developing leadership skills. Your hiking, your canoeing, those are sports. We have a thin mint sprint here, like very close to y'all's office at the St. Tammany Trace in April every year. So we always just say, hey, we do sell Girl Scout cookies, but we're also about being healthy. So we invite our families to come out and participate in the Thin Mint Sprint, which is a 5K, and we have a Daisy Dash, which is a 1 mile.
Gotcha.
So trying to, keep people active. Girls and children in general just are on their phones a lot. They are indoors playing video games. And it's really important to get girls outside, active,
away from the phone for a day.
Well,
it's actually nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
I remember that for when I was 10, before cell phones
for adults
became,
too, actually.
Right.
I think we all need that.
Absolutely, you should. I always associate, we think Boy Scouts, Cub Scouts, whatever, you think Pinewood Derby and those types of things. Is there any parallel event like a Pinewood Derby for Girl Scouts?
We've tried it. We've had a Powder Puff Derby. It's usually been at the troop level. Some of our troops have actually done it because I guess they see their brothers do it and they think, oh, that's something that I want to try. Actually, some of our new patches are about race car design patches. So I don't know exactly, the brand new, so I really don't know a whole lot about it, but that sounds very similar.
Gotcha. So bottom line, how does somebody become a Daisy or a Scout? What do they need to do?
Well, it's really super easy. If you can go onto our website, you go to www.gsle.org/join, and the information, you just fill in your information. It'll show you troops in your area, so you can actually click on the troop if you want to, or if you don't know. If not, you can fill out as much as you can, and then someone will contact you to make sure that we get placement. Because we really want to not only have girls join, but we really want them to be able to, find a time that works for them, and hopefully we can get their parents and guardians involved as well as volunteers.
Is it ever too late to become a Girl Scout?
No, absolutely not. You could be a Girl Scout. In fact, we have a new program called.
I wouldn't be a very
It's called Man Enough to Be a Girl Scout, and it's a way of recognizing that father figures and male and communities, organizations can really play a role in a girl's life, and so we have it's also a thing that for fathers, and you've got sons, but it's a wonderful opportunity to get involved in Girl Scouts.
That is good to know, because I'm sure there are fathers that don't realize that.
Right, absolutely.
So, I thank you so much for coming in. It was a pleasure to meet you both. Good luck with your
Thank
convention.
you. Thank you.
And I look forward to, you're going to be famous someday probably because of this. So I knew you win. So thanks for coming in. And we'll be right back after this break.
Getting closer to nature can get you closer to your family. Go to discovertheforest.org.
And we're back. And now we have the Boy Scouts of America. We just finished with the Girl Scouts, and Paul Dotrieve is here with us to talk about Boy Scouts. So other than it, one being Girl Scouts and the other being Boy Scouts, I'm sure there's some differences we can discuss. Before we get into that, tell us what you do for the Boy Scouts of America and where you're based.
Right. Okay, I'm Paul Dotrieve. I'm with Boy Scouts of America, and I'm the district associate for Southeast Louisiana Council. I cover all of East St. Tammany, and I have a counterpart that covers West St. Tammany. I manage units. I do membership. I raise money. I handle our popcorn business. Yeah, so I do it all with them.
Assume I don't know anything about Boy Scouts. How could you easily describe what the Boy Scouts do?
All right, so yeah, we start with Cub Scouts at the younger age, and it's more of a family program. We teach young boys how to be a leader in their family, in their school, in their church, in their community. And then as we move up through the ranks with Boy Scouts, they get more it's a lot more leadership oriented, where we kind of put them more on their own a little bit, and we put them in situations and kind of sink or swim kind of thing. And then also we have another program called Venture Crew, which is boys and girls. So it's a co-ed program that we have, and it's 14 to 20, and that's when you get more into high adventure stuff, you're able to go and do things like rock climbing and scuba diving and various like high adventure stuff like that. So
it's part fun, part learning to be a leader.
Absolutely.
You can do both at once.
Definitely.
And you can't do that. You can't say that about every organization where you can have fun and learn the leadership skills. At what point? This may be difficult to answer, but at what point do you think you see almost like a boy growing into a man as a scout? Can you see it?
Yeah, I mean, if you follow them from, say, Cub Scouts all the way to them making their eagle as a Boy Scout, you could definitely see a difference. I mean, we have data. You could put this into Google. We have actual real research that we've done as an organization to show that it promotes leadership. It promotes a better sense of community. We have a higher graduation rate than every high school. I mean, we were at 98%. Definitely for the high schools in this area, we have a really high graduation rate. So yeah, you definitely 100% see a difference.
Well, I guess we'll get into some of the things that might attract people, and let's start with Cub Scouts.
Right.
I've got a first grader, and we're interested. What would my Cub Scout perhaps experience in the first year or two? And by that I mean, what are some of the events and some of the things that he might go to in those first year or two that he would enjoy that he may not could do on his own?
Right. So other than the kind of learn by doing Cub Scout activities that we'll have, different art projects, different little things that we'll do. We have one real good catch is the Pinewood Derby race. I don't know if you know anything about that.
I do. Yeah.
Right.
I think I finished second in my Pinewood Derby as a Cub Scout.
Really, yeah.
No, my biggest accomplishment.
Right. So mine wasn't fast, but I won the show and shine when I was a Cub Scout, so it looked good, but it wasn't fast at all.
So you make your own car,
right?
You paint your own car,
right. So you get this little block, and you and your it's supposed to be kind of a family activity, so you don't want kids using power tools and stuff. So the parent or guardian and the scout, they'll get together and they'll make their own race car. They'll design it however they want, and they all have to be like a specific weight. They'll weigh them just so they're all like on a level playing field, so you could race them. And the kids love that for sure. That's definitely a selling point. I mean, when I'm doing a recruiting talk and I tell them, how would you like to build your own race car and race against other kids, and they go nuts over that.
Right.
So yeah, and then we also have the rain gutter regatta. They make these little boats with a sail on it, and then they could race them like that. So that's always a lot of fun for them.
And there are some camping experiences.
Absolutely, absolutely. The camping gets a lot more advanced when you get to Boy Scouts, but for Cub Scouts, that's also a family experience, because you have to have a parent go with a Cub Scout. So you know, they'll have family camp out weekends at the different Boy Scout camps we have in the area. We have 5 Lakes Campground in Bush. We have Camp V-Bar right outside of Picayune that Southeast Louisiana Council actually owns. So we'll do Cub Scout weekends where they go and camp with their family and things like that. But we also, in the summer, we have a Cub Scout day camp where the parents drop them off during the day, and that's where they get to do the stuff that they've always been.
Is that also in Bush?
Right. We have one in Bush, and we have one at Camp Villery in Slidell. Okay. So for East St. Tammany and West St. Tammany respectively. So they'll do that. That's where they get to do the shoot bow and arrows and BB guns and you know, fish and swim and do all the stuff that they were promised to be able to do when I recruited them to be in Cub Scouts. So that's where you know, they finally see it come full circle. They get to do a lot of really fun stuff that they wouldn't normally do, say at a weekly Cub Scout meeting or something like that.
Got it. So when they advance to Boy Scouts, and not only camping, but when do the activities change? When do you start getting into more of the skill building, leadership, direct leadership, and again, maybe some of the highlights
right.
for a Boy Scout or an Eagle Scout at a certain age.
Right. So we have this joke that we do. We have this. It's called the Guide to Safe Scouting. It's you know, a book where it kind of guides, you know, like what, you know, at what ages people could do what. And so we joke about, as you move through Cub Scouts, Boy Scouts, and venturing, the Guide to Safe Scouting gets a little bit smaller. So you get to do a little bit more. You know, you can go with significantly less adult leadership with the Boy Scouts than you could with the Cub Scouts. You don't have to have your parent with you. So that's where you get to see, you know, you just have the Scoutmaster, Assistant Scoutmaster, and maybe a couple other adults, and then you have, you know, 15 boys that are out on a camp out, and so you're kind of in charge. You know, you delegate responsibilities. So we have the way that we're structured. You have your senior patrol leader, and then you have patrol leaders divided up into patrols, and they delegate tasks and different things. So you get to see, you know, hey, if this guy doesn't wash the dishes, then we're not going to have dinner later, kind of thing. You know, so you assign people different tasks, and that's when you really start to, you know, learn by doing. You really starts to click, you know, yeah, with the leadership and it getting a little bit more advanced. And then you get to go, you know, as you advance and get a little bit older, you get to go to, you know, I guess high adventure, you know, stuff like that. We have the Sea Base in Florida where you get to go scuba diving, Camp Rainy Mountain. You know, kind of like really intense hiking, and then we have our famous Philmont Scout Ranch, where they get to do some like overnight hikes, or, you know, hike up and down mountains and yeah, camp overnight and stuff like that. The
same premise, but I'd enjoy your take, because we were discussing this with the Girl Scouts. It's so different from what most kids are used to with
right.
being on the phone,
right,
and doing whatever. I'm getting old now, so I don't
right.
know what kids do, but
no,
you know, so that you can't underestimate the importance of the real life experience. You'll never be able to replace anything on social media with that. That's huge.
Right. No, for sure. And you know, as an organization, we're adapting. We're adding a little bit more technology-based merit badges. We have various pilot programs across the United States for like STEM Scouts, all these different things where we're trying to, you know, change with the times. We're trying to change with, you know, the times with advancing technology. We have a video game programming merit badge, which I mean that's really far out even for me as a younger person. But yeah, we're definitely and I don't think you'll ever, and this is just, you know, strictly my opinion, I don't think you'll ever be able to replace, you know, the learn by doing, the going out there and learning, you know, learning how to, you know, understanding the outdoors and learning how to be out there and live with it and you know, you know, even starting a fire, the science of that. I mean, you know, we have heaters now in our houses, but you know, we still need to be able to understand that aspect of nature and things like that.
Yeah. Is it ever too late to become a scout?
Well, I mean, I'm a 24-year-old employee of Boy Scouts of America, and I consider myself a scout. But I mean, really, scouts are, you know, that term I feel like is reserved for, you know, the young, you know, the younger people, the people that are actually scouts. But you know, you can still be a part of the organization on a volunteer level, on an employee basis, like myself, and you can still really get the you're never going to get the full scouting experience, the learning by doing, but I've even learned stuff just by going to these meetings and watching these kids, and so they've taught me things that I never thought that I would learn. So no, and I guess to bring it full circle, no.
So you're saying I could become a scout?
Right.
I was a Cub Scout 1 year. That didn't count.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you could be a scouting volunteer and still get the experience of Boy Scouts of America, the hiking and camping and fishing and swimming and BB guns and bows and arrows. I mean, there's plenty of opportunities to do that. We actually have a really big shortage in adult leadership, and that's what drives our program. Yeah. I mean, there's more of them than there is me. I mean, although I'm a paid professional of Boy Scouts of America, what drives our programs is the adult volunteers. I mean, I kind of joke with my lead volunteer all the time that he's my unofficial boss. I answer to my boss, but he's been in the program a lot longer than I have. So 9 times out of 10, he's going to know he knows what's going to happen before I do, and he knows how to kind of guide me and direct me in that way.
Good stuff. Well, real quickly, how someone wants to become a scout? Who do they call? You? Do they go?
Yeah, I mean, they could get more information at bsa-sela.org, or just go to Google and type in Boy Scouts of America Southeast Louisiana Council. Our office is out of Metairie. They could just click on staff and find me. I'm Paul Dautrieve. Our East St. Tammany area is called Cypress District, and for Estruma, if you're in the Mandeville-Covington area, you could go to their website. You just type in Estruma Area Council, and Dorothy Garcia is their district executive, and their Bogotachena district, I believe, and yeah, so they could find it all online, or they could contact me or her directly via the website.
Good stuff. Last thing I'll say, and I'll say it for you, don't forget the popcorn.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
The cookies are one thing. Don't forget the popcorn, because that's as important as the cookies.
Absolutely.
So that's good. It looks like that. You'll see your scouts. I've seen them at Movie Tavern, Walgreens.
Right.
Now I'm giving businesses plugs I shouldn't be, but they're everywhere. So don't forget the popcorn. Paul, it's a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Visiting with you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming over and talking to us. And we hope you've enjoyed today's show. We will see you again next time on Get Outside St. Tammany.